I used to feel so lost until I realized my life is just a reflection of my emotions. And these four sentences is all it took that really transformed me, which transformed my reality. See, I had a crazy mental health condition where I was totally lost. My thoughts were so loud, I couldn't hear other people speak. I couldn't taste my favorite food. It was really freaky. And it lasted for like 4 months. And the doctors were like, oh, you gotta take medication for the rest of your life. And I was like, hell no, bro. There's gotta be a way out naturally. And once I did find that way out naturally through yoga, through traveling India, I manifested the reality that I wanted, which was moving to Chicago, living in a penthouse, which is on the 53rd floor. And my passion is dancing. So I danced for the Detroit Pistons and grew my dance account to 33,000 followers. And currently, I moved to my dream city, San Diego. And since then, I was like, if I can change my mental, physical health, which changed my reality, I'm sure others can do the same. So I started working with a war veteran, entrepreneur, a doctor, and a person who went through brain surgery to absolutely transform their lives and find real peace. So I'm gonna go through three things so you can do the same. First one is why people feel lost. Second one is understanding the mirror principle. And we're gonna end with this problem solving skill called Ho'oponopono. Super funny name, but it really freaking works. Okay. So let's get right into it. Why do people feel lost? Why did I even feel lost? See, let's go from a very biological and nervous system perspective. So we have our body, correct? And we also have our mind. And in our mind, we have these we have this projector, right? Let's call this the mind. And it plays all sorts of things like stories, the past, the future, and not to mention content from outside, perceptions of people, and just influence. A lot of things influence us since we were kids. And now this is what goes in our mind. However, when we feel lost, it's a sort of emotion, right? That we get. But what else does feeling lost mean? Like, let's say depression, because you have no ability to express, you have anxiety, a sensation of rushing, like we need to rush. Let's say there's no time. Let's say you feel too late to pursue your passions. It's too much work to do what you really want to do, so there's no time, and you just feel rushed. Let's say like in your job or something. Now we know that these things happen in the mind, but where does this happen? It happens in our body. It happens in our heart. It happens in our lungs. It happens in our guts and our intestines. And if we keep this long enough, it creates oxidative stress. Another word for oxidative stress is chronic stress, because we're constantly focusing on the negative stories, negative past, negative potential future, the negative content, let's say news, right? Negative people, and it's not even people, right? It's the image that we have of them. Everybody views everyone differently. It's because of the perception in the mind, correct? And also what you've been influenced by. If all of these things are negative, then our body is going to react negatively, because our body doesn't know the difference between imagination, reality. Okay? And in my example, my personal life example, I went to Michigan State, go green, and I got in the number one major in the country, which is supply chain management. So I should be happy, right? I was also a dance captain of a nationally ranked dance team. It was Bollywood Fusion. That's the style that we danced in. And we were nationally ranked in the country. That was my dream going into college as a freshman year. Even though everything was going all right, I still was unhappy. Why? because my mind was flooded with confusion. I was just absolutely confused. Is this what I really wanted to do with my life? Is this truly making me happy? Even though on paper, everything looked amazing, right? Like, wow, dude, you're like everything that everyone wants, right? But what was really happening, my entire body was it was inflamed, bro. It was getting cooked because even though on paper everything was right, my perception of reality was completely skewed, right? So let's say everything did seem very positive, right? Everything I was experiencing was positive, but my body was telling me like, nah, dude, everything is negative, right? So we want to bridge this gap, right? Because it's clearly a misaligned situation, right? Notice how everything here I should be grateful for, right? I should be grateful, but there's a complete mismatch because my emotions didn't align. And now you can't force yourself to feel better. You can't force yourself to be like, oh no, I'm okay, right? Or the other case that people do, the other things that people do to feel better, drugs, distraction, partying, or they basically avoid, right? Avoiding the emotions, these emotions turns oxidative stress into inflammation. Inflammation turns on the negative genes that we are built with. And for me, it was making my mind go cuckoo, right? I literally could not focus. I had no energy. I was so tired. I couldn't even pay attention to a single thing. So I didn't even know if I was going to graduate from college with this major. So this is what creates that emptiness, that confusion. Like, what do I do next? I'm so freaking lost, right? I have all these disgusting emotions, even though everything seems nice, right? And maybe in your case, nothing is going right. So then your emotions also match that. So how do we go from this total physically L situation, because your health is getting cooked, but also on paper your life might be cooked, or even if it's not, your perception of life is cooked. What do we do next? So we have to understand the mirror principle. Now, this is the one principle that I started to live by that actually changed my life, right? I'm going to show you what you can do in that last point to change the way you feel, right? The whole point of the mirror principle, let's draw in red, is that you can't change your outside, right? Let's draw this as your awareness and draw this as your world, your universe. Okay? This is an effect. Your reality is simply an effect of what you are witnessing, right? This, what I like to call, is the observer. Okay? See, you are not the body or the mind. You are something that observes the body and the mind. So you are observing your reality. You are observing your health, wealth, and relationships, and bank account, and drama, right? If this is the effect, what is the cause, right? The cause is your internal world, which are your thoughts and your emotions. See, it's so complex, right? Your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions create your even more thoughts. Keep that long enough, it creates a certain frequency, right? And that frequency will match the effect. It will be the exact same. So if I were to just copy this, it will be the exact same as the outside. So, in other words, the way you feel and what you experience emotionally and in the mind, it's going to be reflected as a physical manifestation in the real world. And so when people say, "Oh, I have to change my, physique. I have to go to the gym 100 times. I have to get more money, so I'm gonna apply to more jobs because then I can get a better job. Oh no, I have to go on a dating app to find the love of my life because I have to take action, right?" If you work in the world of effects, if you work in the physical realm, expecting a change in the physical realm, you're just going around in circles, right? Because you're still stressing about, oh, what can I do so the physical world can change? What actions can I take that will affect the physical world? Now, don't get me wrong, of course, you need to take action, but if you still take action in a mood where you're still unhappy and not at peace, then this is not going to change because the universe is only going to read what's happening inside, right? So, in other words, this is inside, this is outside, right? And let's be honest, we barely have any control over what's happening outside. There's no control over, political events, world events, what job you're going to get, who you're going to run into. It may seem like you have control, but there's little to no control. Little to no control. Even you don't even have control over your digestive system or your heart beating or your breathing patterns. It's just all happening, right? So then what do you have control over, right? You can change your perception. That's the key. You can change your belief. What is a belief? It's your thought plus your emotion. Sorry about that. This thing happens from time to time. This random ash mark. So, your thoughts plus your emotions is what creates your belief and your perception. So, when you look at a glass with 50% water, you can describe this in a positive way or a negative way. Positive people will say, "Oh, the cup is half full," while pessimistic people will say cup is half empty. Even though the truth is that it's just 50%. How you describe that 50% is what matters. And your best case is to describe things as positive because it's going to create positive emotions, which then creates positive thoughts. And the crazy thing is, you might be able to hide your emotions, just like Robin Williams, who, the actor from Flubber and RV. He was able to hide his depression, his sadness, his sinking, lost feeling. But the universe will never believe your lies. The universe will always see through because everything is unified. You are the universe. So this observer thing, this is your life as an individual. But if you remove all these things, the only thing that's left is this, which is also this, right? So you are the universe. And if you keep lying to yourself about how you truly feel, then the universe is going to maintain that frequency, maintain that vibe, maintain that cause, which in return will give you negative effects over and over and over and over because of how we perceive reality, right? And so if everything is happening inside you, doesn't that mean we have total control? Doesn't that mean we can change what's happening inside us? And if we change what's happening inside us, so let's say we make the internal frequency extremely high, wouldn't that affect our external world? That's exactly what happened with me, right? So in the 4 months when I was going crazy, I would be constantly worried about the future and regretful about the past, right? And then I decided like, no, I can't feel this way about the past, and I can't worry about the future. So how can I feel differently? So I started to accept my past. I started to talk to my parents about like, yo, how was I as a kid? You know, what things did I do that made me who I am now, right? Like really difficult conversations. Even my parents were confused, like, yo, why are you asking such deep ass questions? But my mind was all over the place, right? I needed to get a sense of what really happened so I can change my relationship with the past, with the future, to understand who I am now so that I can increase my vibe. What is the highest vibe? It's gratitude and love. And gratitude and love is like a skill, right? All emotions are a skill. And once I start to maintain that frequency of gratitude and love, that's when all those physical things start to change. Like the penthouse came to me, the dance opportunities came to me, working with clients to change their life, that also started just appearing out of nowhere. And the actions, the right actions to take so that these events started to line up, those actions also came to me. I didn't struggle, I didn't strategize, I didn't like, you know, plan my ass off. I just maintained a frequency, and that frequency of gratitude and love, openness, resulted in all these things just coming to me. Because at the end of the day, we are simply a magnet, right? And the more powerful our magnet is, the more it'll attract physical benefits. So, how do you actually change your vibe? How do you actually increase your frequency? So, I learned this beautiful concept called Ho'oponopono, right? It's a Hawaiian concept, and it simply means to problem solve. Okay? So, let's say we have a problem and we perceive, okay, let me start over. Usually, the problem isn't necessarily the problem, it's the perception of the problem, right? One man's trash is another man's treasure. When there's a funny story, it's like from Alex Hormozy and Layla Hormozy, who are entrepreneurs. They got coffee and they were walking out of a store, and Layla accidentally bumped into a stranger, and the stranger goes like, "Watch where you're going, skinny bitch." And Alex Hormozy was like, "Oh man, gotta defend my wife." So he started getting all like intense, and before he was able to open his mouth and say something to the stranger, Layla Hormozy was like, "Oh, he just called me skinny. Did you hear that, Alex? He called me skinny." Notice how she decided to choose the positive perspective rather than, you know, the stranger calling her a bitch. She chose to take upon the positive side, the skinny part, right? And so it's really the perception that you choose, right? It's the way you describe the situation. Are you describing it as a problem or an opportunity? Are you describing it as frustrating or saying it is what it is? Now, Ho'oponopono is a method of reframing the situation instantly. Okay? So there are 4 aspects to it, and 4 questions actually. The first question is, who am I? The second question is, what is the problem? Third is, where is the problem? The fourth is, what is my purpose? So, most people, when we ask, who am I? It's like, a person. switch it to this. Who am I? I am a person. I'm sorry about that. I don't know, man. This thing happens from time to time. Does anybody know how to fix this on Canva? Please comment. I am a... Oh my gosh. What is going on? Please help me. I am a person or individual. Right? That's what most people say. What is the problem? Let's say a frustrating person. Okay, we all know frustrating people, parents, friends. Now, where is the problem? Usually, people say, "Oh, it's the person. That's the problem. It's outside. It's outside of me. It's out there. If it's not a frustrating person, it's a frustrating situation at work, at home, at the store." Right? Where is the problem? It's outside. Okay? Think outside. But in order to more effectively answer this question, we have to go back to the first question. Who am I? Like I said previously, it might seem that you are a person or an individual, but in fact, you are not a person or an individual. You are the universe. Because whatever is happening inside is what's happening outside. So, if you are the universe, that means everything is happening inside you. All the physical, circumstantial life situations that we're experiencing, it's just happening within us. And our brain is just taking the signals that's happening outside and then showing us what we see. But in fact, it's just happening in this grand quantum space, which is the true nature of reality, right? Whatever is happening inside is happening outside. Whatever is happening outside is just a reflection of how we see reality. And so, if there is no separation between inside and outside, because it's equal, that means the frustrating person, the person is just a person. The frustratingness, the emotion of frustration, it's not happening outside. It's happening within me. The challenges are not happening outside. The challenge is happening within me. My parents aren't annoying. The feeling of annoyingness is happening within me because I have the perception and the belief that that person is frustrating. That situation is frustrating. Does it make sense? So the problem is not outside. It's inside. It always has been inside. Right? The cup was never half empty. It was always half full. My bank account was never low. I just perceived it to be low. I have total control in perceiving it to be a different way. I have total control in describing this person who is frustrating to be another description, like, oh, that person is having trouble, that person needs help, that person needs more love, rather than saying, dude, screw this person, bro, screw this situation at work. Nah, there is an opportunity for me to help. There's an opportunity for me to fill a gap. Because when we change the description and our perception, it changes the whole game. So what is the purpose? What is my purpose after I realize that the problem's not outside, the problem is inside? It's simply to clear, to go back to zero, to go back to love and gratitude. Because when we clear the problem, all that remains is love. And so how do we do this? Just 4 simple sentences, which are sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now, When I first saw this, I was like, why am I saying sorry? Why am I being apologetic? Isn't being apologizing bad? Doesn't that make me a simp? No. When we say sorry and when we say forgive me, it's not saying sorry, forgive me to the person or the situation or the event. It's saying sorry to the universe, which is you. So you say, sorry, forgive me to yourself for having bad judgment, for having bad perceptions, for labeling things as bad, as frustrating, as depressive, as anxious, as too less, as scarce, as limited. Sorry myself, sorry to myself, sorry to the universe, because it is me, I am the universe, for having the ability to say negative shit. Please forgive me. It is my mistake. And as I started doing this, bro, my heart just started getting so much lighter, because one of the greatest tools to clear yourself and increase your frequency is to forgive, not others, but yourself. And so, once you forgive them and you clear them, you want to replace it with thank you and I love you. And you're not saying I love you to the person, you're saying it to what? Yourself. Right? Because you are the universe. Everything you experience is happening inside you, nowhere else. Because your experience is purely subjective. And whatever you think is right or wrong, you're right. Even if it might be wrong to other people, it is right for you. Just like how Joker thinks it's perfectly fine killing humans. He's still happy, isn't he? Because he thinks it's right for him, even though the rest of the world thinks it's wrong. I know I'm talking about a fictional character, but we can talk about Hitler, right? He thought it was totally fine to do genocide. Totally fine in his universe. Therefore, it was fine for him. So, what you deem as fine or what you deem as wrong, it is right absolutely for you. Because in your universe, you are the God. And so, what kind of universe and self do you want to live in? Right? Don't you want to be happy, grateful, regardless of your external circumstances? Because if you can be happy without anything, that's when you get everything. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm still learning to master these 4 emotions. I'm learning to say sorry, forgive me for all the bad judgments, all the regrets, all the icky feelings that I've ever felt, because I've had some sort of belief. Remember what belief is? Thought plus emotion. That led me to bad judgments. So I'm clearing myself of these bad judgments and bad beliefs by saying, forgive me for saying those negative things. Thank you, universe. Thank you, myself, for the experience of life. I love you. To myself. I love myself. Because then everything starts gravitating towards you. Your frequency just expands. Now, if you've gone this far in this video, clearly you understand that there is some value in spirituality and changing your frequency so that you can carry out your dream life and attract everything you've ever wanted. And if you want personal guidance from me, click in the description below, apply to work with me. Let's have a chat. Let's see what works out, because you deserve to have everything you've ever wanted, especially if you're interested in this kind of knowledge. Okay, so click on the link and let's get chatting. And I want to end the video by saying, always remember, everything you feel and everything you experience, it's the one and the same. There is no difference between the outside world and the inside world. Always remember that you are the universe. Always remember that Shiva is inside you. You are Devi and Shiva at the same time. You are nothing and everything at the same time. There is no separation. Always remember.